That's awesome, Billy. That's awesome.
Hello, all. And welcome to Hockey on Tap podcast. This is episode 18. I'm your host, Bill Dean, and I'm here with, of course, my two co-hosts, Steve Echevarria and Mike Sandillo, a.k.a. Little Steve and Schwim. The joke with this is that these guys have been saying that I'm no longer the bruiser on our hockey team. It's Dan Valvano's job. So I just wanted to show them all the muscle that I've been building, while at home. I got my six-pack. Actually, it's an eight-pack. It looks pretty good. So, but yeah, that's my job to lose. It's not Dan's to win. So let's just go for that.
SOF capital T.
Yeah, not even close. I remember. Nice music there, Schwim. Well,
Thanks.
So
I like
guys,
that song so much I want to hear it again.
I just realized I popped my beer and it's leaking. So what are you guys drinking?
I went to Sigmeister again this weekend. They had two new releases that I had to pick up. Today, I decided to drink for the podcast if I can get my damn koozie off. Melvin's going to say hi in the meantime. So this is the Admiral's flagship, USS Limon. If I can go over Melvin here. So this is an Imperial IPA, 8.4 alcohol percentage, brewed with a whole mess of lemons. And this is kind of dangerously smooth. Imperial IPAs are usually pretty high in alcohol, and this is, I would call this very much crushable. So pick some up. It's friggin' delicious, but be careful because you could drink this all damn day.
I have another one by Nightmare, one of my favorite breweries. Again, the artwork is my favorite, if you can see that. This is called Gunga Rao. It's a hilarious name. It's a sour. It's what's it made with here? Coconut, pineapple, Moroccan mint, and cashmere hops.
Mint.
Yeah, interesting. Over 8%, I think. Yeah, it's about 8.3%. Again, the artwork is really cool. It shows all these different ways that people have been tortured over the years. This is something that was apparently done back in the 1300s in India and over there. They would just throw people into elephants, and the elephants would have spikes and stuff on it. It's crazy shit. I don't know. You got to check this stuff out. Really good, really good. I've had this before, but I'm crushing this again. It's delicious.
All right, and then myself, I have Artisanal Brewworks. It's She's Turt with Raspbanana.
Oh,
and
where'd you get that?
Steve gave it to
Nice.
us. It's actually really good. A good raspberry banana beer. Only 4%, so definitely crushable.
You can have two.
As it leaks all over the place.
Have you had that yet? Have you had that yet?
No, you can't. It has lactose.
What? Not that. I mean, the one.
Oh,
Mine.
well.
I almost spit beer right back into Schwimm's can after you said that.
Wait, I said you did have it, right?
The one that you have?
You haven't had this one.
I have not had that one. That contains
because
lactose.
it has
one of the ones
lactose.
that contains lactose, so I am avoiding that guy. But you enjoy it, my friend.
I will. It is delicious.
I can't get my koozie back on, so
that's.
Do you need me to help you?
I hate when that happens. Yes. You really need the muscle over there, so if you need help, I'll just come over.
I need Valvano.
Where's Val's? You need him.
Damn it. All right, so speaking of a little curse word I just said there, not really, GD, but Schwim is watching the Tampa game, so we apologize for any shouting or loud noises and cursing.
Language.
explicit language. If he does, we'll try to keep it at a minimum. But
I
Schwim
apologize
is
right
watching
now,
his
everyone.
team hopefully take Game 5 and a 4-1 victory over the Bruins. We'll see. It's 0-0 right now, Schwim, right?
Correct.
Going into the second period.
Yep.
All right, boys, let's get to what's on tap for today's episode. Here is our weekly snapshot. Today is actually 8:31, which is Jean Bellevue and Scott Niedermayer's B-Day. And I say Niedermayer because he's going to be coming up in a little bit. I do have some information on him. It's also, because this is just a fantastic day in Rangers history, it was the day of a Rangers-Penguins trade. And it just happened to be that Sergei Zubov and Peter Nedved were traded to Pittsburgh from the Rangers for Luke Robitaille, who was very much on the way down, as well as Ulf Samuelsson. And I believe Colin Campbell's reasoning for that trade was that he wanted to get tougher. So good job, Colin Campbell. You ruined the Rangers. And a Hall of Fame career in Sergei Zubov. Anyways,
it's just one season there, but it was a great. Zubov is. I love Peter Nedved too.
Zubov led the Rangers in points during the regular season. Obviously, during the Cup run, he was fantastic. Him and Brian Leetch. So I always like hearing that trade because it just brings up great feelings of resentment towards the Rangers front office during that whole time.
And they've let you down ever since.
They have. They just continually let me down.
Draft.
No, that's not even funny. If that happens and they do not take who I want them or who they're supposed to take, obviously, there will be mutiny between I think most fans and the staff. So I mean. Steve, I'm going to punch you if that happens. But
all right, I get another punch.
Just for saying that. All right, some other news. Obviously, we're going to get into the series updates, but we have there's a lot of news in the hockey world. Dave Talon was actually removed as GM after 10 years a couple weeks ago. We had mentioned that, but now the new news, and this leads into more things, is that he's being investigated for racist language as recently as while the Panthers were in the bubble in Toronto.
Wow.
Multiple alleged incidents. Obviously, this comes in the wake of the NHL boycotting, 2 days worth of games, Thursday and Friday last week, for racial equality and the social justice movement. All major sports took off from basically Wednesday to Friday: soccer, hockey, basketball. There was a lot of things. Football. Players missing practices. It was a big worldwide event, which was, unprecedented in our lifetime, and a cool thing to see. Everybody standing together. Whether black, white, whatever color your skin, everybody standing up and realizing that this is more than just about sports, and it's more than just about it's humanity, right? So Ryan Reeves and the players joined together for a press conference afterwards, and then they had a video message before the game Saturday and Sunday. Every person and player should feel safe and have a voice. That's, in my opinion. I'm not speaking for you two. I'm pretty sure you'd agree. It is. It's bigger than sports, and we should stand together as one. The Stars, unfortunately, the Stars and the Vegas Golden Knights both faced challenges afterwards. I guess the police in Vegas were denouncing the players, and fans afterwards were, for the Stars, were basically giving up their season ticket memberships. So it's not without challenges and negatives, but we just wanted to get that across. Obviously, big news in the NHL. You guys have any opinions on?
Yeah, it's really nice to see. I know the NHL was kind of late to the party here. When the team's starting on Wednesday and the NHL sitting out Thursday and Friday. But I'm proud. As an NHL fan, I'm proud of what they did. I know that they're maybe it's in the grand scheme of things, it's pretty small, but it has to start somewhere. And I like where these leagues are going. And it's leadership, it's leadership for the country as well. We forget that athletes are still human beings so often. They're entertainers, and granted, they make a lot of money, but they're human beings, and they are very much involved with everything else that happens in this country. And for them to have this platform and to raise awareness, spread equality, is really great to see, and everyone coming together. All sports leagues basically come together as one team to stand together for equality. It's really, really great to see. So I'm proud of everybody, and it was really nice to witness all these leagues coming together. Men, women, all colors, all ages coming together. Really fantastic.
Schwim, anything? I know he's deep in.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you guys are saying. It's really sad to see this stuff is still going on, and we have like no leadership in this country. That our sports figures have to step up and do something like this, because we have no leadership in this country. That's my opinion. I don't know how you guys feel. I don't want to get into the whole political thing here, but
Yeah,
So, but I was. It was crazy to see. Like I've never seen anything like that, and like all these other people are talking about how they've never seen anything like that before.
First time
in
ever.
Sports. I know, it's crazy. We're living through some pretty historical
2020 is something else. Yeah.
historical times here. So it was great to see. I mean, again, the NHL was like a day late with it, but to me that doesn't matter as long as like you're for it and not against it. And like you were saying, like some of these people were, because of what happened, they're giving up their season tickets. Like, do you hate equality that much that you don't want to watch sports or be a part of? Like,
be a human.
I don't
like human
it.
beings. Like, well,
it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, I know.
But
so
great to see.
Also kind of leading off to this, the name of our podcast today was Yibambe, obviously in honor of, the King of Wakanda, Chadwick Boseman, who plays Black Panther in the movies, passed away yesterday. Actually, Saturday night from colon cancer. The guy, and what I find interesting, he's had this for 4 years, which means, he went from being Black Panther and being all jacked and bulked up to going and playing James Brown in the James Brown movie and losing a whole bunch of weight, and then goes and gets jacked up again to play, Black Panther in the actual solo movie, all while just going underneath treatments. And, besides being a great actor, he was in a bunch of phenomenal movies. He's just a great person. And, all the stuff he does for the kids while he was doing treatments, he would go and meet them and, just give them little gifts and toys and just cheer them up. And just a great guy, great human being. And, he also gave, these young kids a role model, African-American role model to grow up and you want to be Black Panther. I mean, there's a lot of tributes out there. So pretty cool stuff. Obviously, I got my little Black Panther pop figurine.
We got our Black Panther right here.
Yep.
Next to us.
Obviously, it was a sad day for Marvel fans and just humans in general, losing a pretty good person. So just wanted to touch base on that real quick.
Again, going back to this, the entertainers, we forget that they are human, and to see how much good Chadwick did for, all communities and people, children, all ages, and to really be such a great role model and really take on such iconic roles and really succeed.
Well, not Tampa.
So as you can hear,
we're gonna get a lot of that.
And that was tame, by the way, people. That was very tame.
Yeah,
that was.
Who was that? That was I didn't see Andre Palat.
The Palat, another one? Is that 4 in a row? 4 games in a row?
Yeah,
I think Shaq.
We'll get into him. He's been really good. Yeah, Shaddy's had we'll get into this, but Shaddy's actually had a pretty decent last few games.
He started off very not good, and now he's picked it up.
Oh wow! I don't know if it's butt.
Wow, that's off 2 people.
I think. Oh, that was a nice tip.
That's all Palat. Oh my God,
that was a nice
stick
tip. Sorry, this is great podcasting. So Steve,
sorry everybody.
We're all play-by-play.
Fantastic. Yeah, fantastic.
Play-by-play and analysts. I think we should have been
basically Shaddy takes a shot from the point, and Palat with a maybe waist high tip to the goal. That was pretty good. Take a look on your local TV radio or TV station, and as well as the internet. So. All right, Panthers. Back to the Panthers GM job. Chris Drury, he's the assistant GM for the Rangers. He actually withdrew his name. They're actually looking at TV personalities like Kevin Weeks and Eddie Olczyk. They're candidates, as well as the normal retreads. Peter Chiarelli. They're also going to Sean Burke and Scott Mellenby, to name a few. And I guess Joel Quenneville is expected to become more involved with this. So that was, just interesting tidbits along with the Panthers GM job. It's all kind of, going throughout. Oscar Lindblom, a pretty good story. He actually took the ice for warm-ups in Game 4 of Philly. And filling in the Islanders. He's been out since December 7th with Ewing sarcoma, which is bone cancer, and it's really cool to see. He actually might skate in a game if depending on what happens with the next one. So good for him. It's a good story in the NHL, and you really root for that kind of stuff. Some other news. This involving the Coyotes. They were actually sanctioned for their violating the combine testing policy.
Pretty harsh penalty.
They were docked a first-round pick in 2021, so next year they won't have a first-round pick, a second-round pick, or a third-round pick. And then this year they were docked their second-round pick, so they won't have a first or second because of the trade with the Devils for Taylor Hall.
And
they also got a huge, they also got a huge fine as well. I think it's each individual infraction is a $250,000 fine. So they didn't announce what the full money fine is going to be, but that's pretty big. And there's big changes coming in the desert. Obviously, the new GM, they're looking for one. They're also really tight to the cap. I mean, they're talking about trading either OEL, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, or Darcy Kemper, both two guys that they really need in that organization. There's also some other names on defense, Chalmerson and Demers. But pretty good news, pretty big news in the desert. That's like I said, that's a big hit for a team that needs it. So, you guys have any comments on that?
Yeah, it's weird to think of, like, of all teams to cheat like this. It's the Coyotes. Yeah. I mean, it obviously hasn't benefited them like one bit. It hasn't given them an edge in the slightest bit because they're still a pretty miserable organization, top to bottom. Watching them in the playoffs was kind of fun because they weren't expected to do anything. But it's so bizarre. If you were to tell me that this happened to a team and to guess which team it was, I think the Arizona Coyotes would be at the very bottom of my list of guesses.
And so, I wouldn't
even expect them.
Yeah, no, it's just like, okay, I don't know. It's strange, but a precedent has been set. So, we haven't really heard much of anybody else doing this. But
I wish they would actually do the same kind of retribution for headhunters and penalties, but that's a whole nother issue.
Yeah, I agree. Player safety should be needs to be overhauled a little more.
Also, stemming from the Coyotes thing, John Chayka, there's actually heavy rumors about him going to the Devils in a overseeing role that regards, that involves the Devils, 76ers, and possibly the Mets if they were to get the bid for the Mets team. But I think that's actually might be Steve Cohen, but we'll see. All right, some news that happened last week as well. Toronto and the Penguins had a trade. Steve, I'll just go over the players real fast, and then you can give your analysis. Kasperi Kapanen was traded as a centerpiece. If you remember, he was actually dealt to the Toronto Maple Leafs in the Phil Kessel trade. He had a bit of a down year in 2019-2020. He only had 36 points after having 44 in 18 and 19. He has 2 years remaining on his contract at $3.2 million per year. He was traded along with Pontus Aberg and Jesperi Lindgren. I'm going to butcher these names. I apologize. For a 2020 first-round pick, which ends up being number 15. It was also the pick that the Penguins could have dealt to Minnesota Wild for Jason Zucker. They also got Evan Rodriguez, who's a depth forward, and Philip Hollander, who's a pretty good center prospect, as well as David Borowski, who's a depth defenseman. It's a cap gain for Toronto, obviously, so they look for a top four D-man. Toronto loves Hollander. They actually wanted him in the draft, and both teams aren't done dealing. According to Dubas, their GM, if there's another Jake Muzzin, we would certainly be interested, to put it mildly. Teams playing were actually annoyed by this trade because they can't make any deals, and they were saying that, hey, we should have the ability to trade for this kind. No teams that they named, but they were upset, I guess, that deals could be made. Other teams thought the price for Kapanen wouldn't be that high, except on like a draft night cost. So Rutherford came out and just said basically it's normally nap time, but it's time to do business. So, Steve, what do you think about the trade?
Yeah, so when I first, I think what did it drop on Tuesday last week? I want to say it was like the day after our podcast, and I got the little alert there, and it was a little shocking at first, but I had to sit and just kind of brood over exactly what's going on here. So it seems like there's a lot involved in this trade, and they're really isn't. So it's really a Kasperi Kapanen for a first-round pick and Philip Hollander. The rest of the contracts are kind of... Can Toronto... Evan Rodriguez is a restricted free agent. Will Toronto sign him for bottom six role? Maybe. Who knows? He might walk. David Warsofsky was just to balance out the contracts. He's a career AHL guy. He'll probably just stick in the AHL. And then in Pittsburgh's, Pontus Aberg is actually signed in the KHL for next season. He is still a restricted free agent, and I guess could still potentially sign a contract if Jim Rutherford wants to extend to him something. I doubt it. He's probably just going to go. And Lindgren is just kind of depth AHL defenseman. Scouting reports say that he's a smart player. They need right-handed shot defensemen, but chances of him seeing any real NHL time probably very minimal. So it really boils down to Kasperi Kapanen for a first-round pick, the 15th overall, and Philip Hollander. So analyzing the trade, on the surface, it was kind of like, okay, a first-round pick. We lost another first-round pick. All right, what exactly is going on? And then breaking down what Kapanen can bring. So Kapanen had that career year, not this past season, the season before that, primarily playing on Austin Matthews' wing. This past season, he was pretty much buried behind
third line
Mitch Marner and William Nylander. So I think his average ice time was about 12 minutes. So he just wasn't being used very well this season. So people are calling him a third line winger. Maybe he is, but Jim Rutherford has a lot of needs. So and before I finally completely analyze this trade, I want to see what other moves he makes, because this trade isn't what's going to turn the Penguins around and make them a contender again next season. They have a lot of issues that they need to address. But one thing that Rutherford has wanted this whole time was to address his top six. He's wanted to get Evgeny Malkin and Sidney Crosby, the wingers, and not just fill-in guys who dominate possession but don't really score and don't really have skill. So now we round out the top six. They're going to slot him in right next to Crosby. That's pretty much the idea right now. So Crosby, Gensel, Kapanen, Malkin, Rust, and Zucker. So top six is pretty solid. Kapanen has skill, has a lot of speed, and has a great shot. He's a right-handed shot, which also they really like, and Sidney Crosby really likes. So it could be very beneficial to Pittsburgh's top six. So you're going to break down this trade and say Jim Rutherford really, really coveted Kasperi Kapanen. I think they said there was about 6 teams involved in offers as well. And sometimes if there's that many teams involved, sometimes you have to overpay. And maybe this is an overpayment. We don't know. So you break it down, what Pittsburgh needs. Rutherford knows that he's not going to waste Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin's years over the next couple of years. So we're still in win now mode. Down the line, and he even acknowledged it. Down the line, a few years down the line, he's going to be strapped a little bit because we're not really going to have many prospects. But the team did get younger with this trade with Kasperi Kapanen, who's only 24. 2 years at $3.2 million. If he turns into a 25 to 30 goal scorer, $3.2 million seems like a bargain. And not only that, afterwards, he turns into a restricted free agent. So you basically have Kasperi Kapanen locked up for about 4 years from this trade, which is also great. And then, when the time comes when Malkin and Crosby and that window is completely shut, then we can start talking about, hanging on to first-round picks. But he's notorious for trading these first-round picks to kind of complete his team. We'll see some of these other players, once the offseason actually starts. Once the offseason actually starts, we'll see what other trades are made, and maybe we'll see a comparable trade. Toronto loves Hollander. Hollander probably isn't playing on Pittsburgh next season. He's probably not playing on Toronto next season. You don't think in a
third line role?
No, he wouldn't play. He wouldn't play for Pittsburgh next season. He's already signed over in Sweden. They're probably going to keep him there because they're not going to.
For that reason. Okay, I got you.
Not going to. Yeah. Yep. So he's better off playing in Sweden than the AHL. So there he's going to stay. Probably with Toronto as well. Maybe Toronto keeps him for a full-time NHL gig. He needs to play in the NHL. Otherwise, there's no benefit to him playing in the AHL. So it's either Sweden or the NHL. I think he's probably going to stay in Sweden this year. So you just consider that for Pittsburgh. Hollander's really not going to make much of a difference this season at all. The 15th overall pick, we don't know what that's going to be. I think they said something about 60% of first-round picks don't make it to the NHL or don't become mainstays in the NHL. The 15th overall pick, we're probably not seeing him until 3 years, 4 years down the road.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the big thing, right, is this draft is supposed to be fairly
very deep.
Deep. Yeah. So, I mean, it could turn out to be bad in that respect. That you lose
They could have
an 03 draft kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, this whoever's drafted 15th could turn into like a Dylan Larkin drafted 15th. Could turn into somebody that great, that impactful for a team. Obviously we won't know the true weight of this trade until a couple years down the road. But I was criticized by my friend Jeff Turner for supporting the Phil Kessel trade back when they traded away first round pick prospect goalie, very good prospect goalie, and Kasperi Kapanen. And, saying that Rutherford doesn't care about the future, but they immediately win 2 Stanley Cups. So you can't criticize that trade. And then they get Kasperi Kapanen back.
Yeah.
So I think I on the surface right now, I like the trade because it fills a role that they needed, but they still need a lot more. They still need to address the defense, obviously the goaltending. They need to fill out the coaching staff. But right now, this works at a pretty bargain price for as far as a contract. If for a potential top 6 right winger, making $3.2 million a year, not bad on the surface. So we'll see. When we break down and we see the start of next season, see what other moves he's made, I'll really kind of give my true opinion on how I feel about this.
You still talking about Luc Robitaille?
Yeah. Okay. Luc Robitaille. So other news. There's some grumblings that Peter Laviolette is the favorite in Washington. So we'll see what happens there. Jacques Martin, who was fired from Pittsburgh in that wholesale firing that happened last week.
Not really firing. They just didn't renew his contract.
Yeah. He's expected to go to the Rangers to replace Lindy Ruff.
He is.
So we'll see.
He did sign.
Oh, yes. He definitely got it? Okay.
Yeah, he signed with the Rangers, correct.
Alex Pietrangelo could be gone, done as well. Apparently talks are happening, but it looks like he might be testing the free agent market. Corey Crawford actually wants to be back with Chicago. He wants to be the number 1, and he's actually willing to take less money to go there. So we'll see what happens there. Torts was actually fined for his media comments, $25,000 after the series with Tampa Bay Lightning. It was pretty good, his send-off comments. So take a look. I don't want to bore everybody with what he said, but the Hurricanes have interest. Yeah, the Hurricanes have interest in Freddie Anderson from Toronto, so we'll see if they get a trade done there. Vladimir Tarasenko could miss the start of the 2021 season.
He's supposed to, right? 5 months.
For that shoulder surgery. So that's a pretty big blow to there's still the reigning Stanley Cup champions, even though they're out of this playoffs. Claude Julien's actually looking healthy and ready to return to Montreal at the beginning of the season. Last little thing, Toronto, says that Nylander's not really available, but they did say that they would want a top 4 D-man for him. McAvoy almost got kicked in the face. So we'll see what happens there. Columbus is looking to deal Korpisalo since they have some deep goaltending prospects as well as Merzlikins, who played pretty well. Jonas Brodin's looking for an extension, but obviously that Minnesota has a tight cap, so we'll see what happens. I did talk about Niedermeyer before. That's because he gave praise to the young defensemen in this year's playoffs, and he specifically called out Miro Heiskanen, Cale Makar, and Quinn Hughes. They are all top 13 in playoff scoring this postseason. That 2017 draft looks absolutely amazing with Dahlin at 1, Miro at 3, and Makar at 4. Obviously, Svechnikov at 2, but that's looking really good. Last little bit of news before I do the scoring leaders and then our updates. Per Elliot Freeman from his 31 Thoughts, which I thought was really interesting. He doesn't believe there will be a bubble or bubbles next season. So they won't have any 8 teams in one part of the country, 8 teams, eight. They're not going to do that, but he says the players won't want it, and quite frankly, neither will the owners. They want a path that leads to attendance, so they'll wait as long as possible to try and see. He does think that one season of regionalized travel is possible, so with teams playing back-to-backs in one city. So yes, that actually could mean a Canadian division for 1 year only, which would be pretty cool. So we'll see what happens. That's obviously going to come up really soon as these playoffs start to die down and the Cup finalist is named, Cup champions named. So good stuff. All right, scoring leaders through Monday. Nathan McKinnon, a stunning 21 points, 7 goals, 14 assists. He leads Pedersen, who's got 17 points. Like I said, Miro Heiskanen's at 16, along with Braden Point, Mr. Schwim's guy, and Mikko Rantanen. Also, Cooch is there, quiet 4-12, but he's done pretty well these last couple games. Schwim will obviously tell you. Nazem Kadri with 15, Stone with 14, Miller with 14, and Shea Theodore with another 14. He's quietly had a really good playoffs. Bo Horvat leads in goals with 9, followed by Guryanov, another rookie at 8, and 7 players are tied with 7 goals to lead the league. Nathan McKinnon, a 12-game point scoring streak. Brian Trottier, if you want to know, he actually has the record with 18 games, so he's only 6 behind. We'll see, obviously, if they can stave off elimination and keep playing. But O'Reilly and Marchand led the playoffs in 19 with 23 points. Ovi had 27 in 2018. Malkin had, button. Yeah, I know. Malkin had 28 and 17. So Malkin. So Bruins just scored David Pastrnak with a ripper from the top.
Easy clear. Puck on his tape. Easy cleared. Can't get it out. So, gives it right back to him. They go and score.
In case anyone wanted to know, the active leader for points in a postseason is actually Evgeny Malkin with 36 in 2009, which is the 7th all time. If you want to know how awesome Wayne Gretzky also is, he owns the top 4 of the top 5 postseason scoring records. He has 47 leads the league for playoffs. Then he had 43, 40, and 38. Lemieux was second with 44 in 1991. Wayne Gretzky's good at hockey. All right, let's go for the semifinal round matchup analysis. We'll start off with the Flyers Islanders. Islanders lead the series 3-1. Once again, shoving it up the old Dean chute. Game 1, the Islanders had a 4-0 shootout. Varlamov with 29 saves. Lee Pajot, Green, and Taves all with a goal. Barzal had the assist. Hart had 25 saves on 28 shots. Game 2, Flyers even the series, 4-3 overtime win. We watched the game at that Myers slapshot goal at 2:41 in overtime. Flyers led 3-0 in the first. Hayes had 2 goals. Couturier with a goal. Lee Beauvillier and Pajot for the Islanders. See, I keep wanting to say oblivious, so it's going to keep happening.
Just say Bouvier.
Yeah, I should. Varlamov was pulled in the first after allowing 3 goals on 10 shots. Thomas Greiss had 20 saves in relief. Carter Hart had 31 saves. Game 3, Islanders win 3-1. Matt Martin, Komarov, and Lee with the goals. Eberle with 2 assists. Pitlick had the goal for Philly. I mean, Pitlick's line with JVR and Lawton was the only good line that entire game. Philly looked terrible. Hart had 26 saves. Varlamov with 26. Hart let in 3 soft ones. Me and Schwim were watching the game. That second goal with 5 seconds left was a dagger in the second period. Game 4, Islanders won again to take the 3-1 series lead. They won 3-2. Nelson had 2 goals. Pajot with a goal. Bailey 2 assists. Provorov and Couturier, were scoring. Couturier's actually had a decent playoffs, but Konechny and Giroux just still without a goal, and they are just. I know they're trying, they're pressing, but it looks bad. So we'll see how this.
We don't know what.
Game 5 is tomorrow.
Bad. Giroux has 1 goal. In his last 25 playoff appearances, 9 points actually in his last 25 playoff games. I don't know what's going on with Giroux. He doesn't look like he used to look, but he is. No. He's still he's making plays, but Philadelphia as a whole they don't look good at all. So they played 13 games now in this postseason. 3 times only 3 of those games have scored more than 2 goals. So the offense just is not showing up at all, pretty consistently. I think they, for the most part, it seemed like they even lucked out that, Montreal, I think, was the bet. It's a strange concept. I think that they were the better team in that series, but their lack of skill and their lack of offensive ability was the only reason why they lost. Otherwise, I think overall they're the better team pretty much consistently throughout every single one of those games.
Yeah.
had they had a couple more pieces, I think that they would have beaten the Flyers in that opening round. And now, the Islanders' style, and obviously go back to Trotz's coaching, the style's just kind of, it's a continuation. I think kind of Trotz is similar in styles as Claude Julien. I think there's a lot of similarities between the two. Trotz maybe has a little bit of an edge with his system, but
oh my God, who was that?
Man,
Plot, you suck.
These comments are just. Oh wow, yeah, that was.
Oh my
God, you got to lift that up.
You got to bury that. Oh
yeah.
my God.
But I don't know about Philly. I don't know how much. So I don't want to downplay the Islanders. I think that they've played very well throughout through Florida, through the Flyers, through Washington, just pretty much dominant. But part of me is just like, I don't know. Florida's just not a good team. Philly has not looked good. And Washington, I think, is just kind of in the same situation as the Penguins, where they're just kind of starting to falter as this window starts to close on some of these guys. So I think it's a combination of the two. I think they are we'll see what happens. I think they're going to easily – I mean, I called them to beat Philly. I think they're going to easily dispatch Philly.
I was wrong on my pick,
whoever they get, Boston or Tampa Bay looks significantly better through these playoffs than I mean, Tampa obviously more so, but significantly better than any of the teams that the Islanders have played. So it would be I think, a pretty exciting Eastern Conference final. Hopefully exciting Eastern Conference Finals, because now the Islanders games just have kind of been lacking excitement.
Yeah, hopefully Tampa goes through, so this way Islanders have a little bit more of a competition in the next round. So we'll see. All those Islanders fans, your teams are looking pretty good. So enjoy this. It's some good hockey. All right, let's go to Schwim's series. Actually, so all the series are at 3-1. Lightning leading the Bruins 3-1 in the season series. Game 1, we already talked about the Bruins winning 3-2. Game 2, that 4-3 overtime win for the Bolts. The Ritchie goal where he keeps whacking way in front of the net. Coleman answers right back on a deflection, but the goal was overturned due to an offsides. He actually then 2 minutes later gets another goal where he actually dives for the puck and chips it past Halak. Marchand deflection on the power play. He got a deflection on the power play off of a pasta feed. Kucherov gets the answer a minute later on a tip off Shattenkirk's shot. It was a good pass from Braden Point. Coleman then scores on a breakaway, but Marchand actually ties it with 4 minutes remaining. Beautiful feed from Corrali. Palat scores the OT winner 4 minutes in on a rebound from Gord. Stuffing after Maroon feeds it in front. Like I said, they go on to win 4-3 in overtime. Game 3, the Bolts won 7-1. The power play, wow. They were 3 for 6. Clorin with 2 goals and an assist. Palat with a goal and an assist. A beautiful one-timer where he basically shoots it off of Chara's big-ass stick. Braden Point with a goal and 2 assists. Yanni Gord, a goal and an assist. Cooch with a goal and 3 assists. Like I said, Cooch has been on the score sheet. Schwim could talk about his play in a second, but Sergachev with a goal and 2 assists. Marchand had a goal, and that's actually the third loss this postseason where the little ball of hate gets a goal and his team loses. Normally, when he gets a goal, his team wins in the playoffs. So that's good stuff. I hate Brad Marchand, so screw you. Vasi with 23 saves. He's looked a lot better. Jarl Halak got pulled. He saved 12 shots, led in 4 goals. Dan Vladar came in, and the poor kid had no defense.
Yeah, 15
shots. He allowed 3 goals. Game 4, a couple breakaways. I mean, you feel so bad for the kid because you figure coming in playoffs, he hasn't played a game in the playoffs. Comes in and gets absolutely railroaded.
He hasn't played an NHL. That was his NHL debut. It wasn't even his playoff debut.
I thought he played one. I thought I saw you. I think that
was his NHL debut.
Yeah, poor kid.
Thrown to the Wolves.
Game 4, Bolts won 3-1. Palat with 2 goals. Palat's been all over the score sheet. Hedman with a goal. Cooch with 2 assists. Point and Cirelli with assists each. DeBrusque got a goal for the Bruins. Vasi once again played great, 29 saves. Halak with 23. And then Game 5, we're watching. It's 1-1. And we'll see what happens midway through the second, right?
Halak has showed up to play.
So Schwim, do you have enough time to get a quick analysis, or are you gonna lose it?
Of this game or the whole series? This game
no,
is
whole series.
not good.
Whole series.
Oh my God. Well, the whole series has looked decent for Tampa's side until this game. This game, they look awful. I mean, in the beginning of this game, they looked pretty good. They just couldn't bury anything, but now Boston's all over. I think Tampa has like 12 shots in this game right now.
Mm-hmm.
And Kucherov's back in the locker room. I don't know what's wrong with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that 4-minute double minor almost hurt Tampa Bay. I feel like
it was awful. Yeah, they have 12 shots.
No shot. They had no shot on the 4-minute power play, and then just kind of looked a little bit asleep. But I mean, not completely asleep because Halak's made some pretty amazing saves, especially right there before. Who's got a lot before?
What are we doing?
I think it's a penalty.
Oh,
I say Sergachev didn't even want to skate for it.
That's what I'm saying.
Anyways,
what is going on?
So yeah, I mean, I'll take a little bit of the analysis because Schwim's obviously very into this game. Tampa's looked really good. Their power play looked very good as well.
And no Cooch again. They get a power play, and now Cooch is gone again.
So their power plays looked very well. We'll see what happens on this power play. But as a team, I thought they played really well. I thought the Bruins kind of gave away a couple games, especially that game 2. Game 3, they were nonchalant, didn't even look there. And then game 4, you figure they'd have a really good game coming off. I think Tampa just took it to them, 3 goals in those first 2 periods. And it kind of was a backbreaker for the Bruins. So we'll see what happens today's game. Obviously, you're getting play-by-play, information from
reactions.
Schwim's groaning and grunting and cheering. And
it's a
beautiful thing to watch. So, Steve, got anything before we touch base on the Western Conference?
No, I'm enjoying this series. I think Halak has played very well. Although I will say I don't think much of this is Halak's fault, but I think this is a different series of Rask there.
Exactly. I was going to say you can see where, and there is a big difference because obviously in the Bruins series, Halak he's kind of been on the other side as the backup goaltender. He's not having the greatest of series, not always his fault, but then you go to another series, which we'll go into this right now. So the Stars and the Avalanche. Stars are up 3-1, and we talked about on the other side, Khudobin has played awesome for the Stars. He's the backup for them. You're really a 1B, but more of a 2. He's been fantastic in Bishop's absence. They lead the series 3-1. The Stars won that first game. Game 2, the Stars come out and once again lay a smacking down on the Avs, 5-2 win. The Avs led 2-0 midway through the second. McKinnon and Rantanen both had a goal and an assist. But then the Stars come in, 5 unanswered goals. Pavelski, Faksa.
Are you kidding
Radulov,
me? Are you? Is that literally a joke?
Radulov, Lindell, and Alexiak all had goals.
Yeah.
Heiskanen and Jamie Benn with assists. Khudobin with 38 saves. Sorry, guys. I know this is fantastic podcasting. Francouz with 22 saves in the loss. Game 3, the Avs finally get on the board, 6-4 win. Sagan, Guryanov, Como, and Ben with goals for the Stars. Ben and Heiskanen with assists as well. McKinnon had 2 assists. Kadri with a goal and an assist. He had the game-winning goal. Mikko Rantanen with a goal and assist. Rantanen's been awesome this postseason series as well. Kel McCarr with 3 assists. Zadorov with a goal and an assist. And Landeskog got a goal. Khudobin had 26 saves. Francouz with 33. I know I'm saying Francouz. Damn. Game 4. Stars take 3-1 series lead with the 5-4 win. Stars go out with a 3-0 lead in the first. Avs grabbed 2 in the second. The Stars answered back with 2 more in the third before the Avs scored too late in the period and came close but just couldn't get through. Faksa with goal and 2 assists. Rupe Hintz with a goal and an assist. Klingberg with a goal and an assist.
Oh my God.
Heiskanen with an assist. Guryanov and Ben with goals. Yep. Nishushkin with 2 goals. McKinnon with 2 assists. Gerard with 2 assists. Makar had a goal and assist. He had played really well.
And another assist.
Another assist. Khudobin with 33 saves. Francouz with 21. And damn it.
You'll get there. You'll get there.
I just got to spell it out phonetically. And Hutchison with 3 saves in relief of the goalie for Avalanche. Game 5 is tonight, 9:45. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, the Stars have taken it to the Avalanche. I mean, they're just depth, and I know that the Avs are their leaders are getting goals, and they're scoring. McKinnon and Rantanen especially, but they haven't gotten that bottom 6 production. And
Yeah.
Dallas has. Dallas just their defense looks great. They look great. They're a freight train, and it's going to be fun to watch them and the Golden Knights because both those teams are just on fire right now.
Yeah, so I had, I have Dallas coming out and the
Nice.
Golden Knights coming out, both up 3-1. I think there's about a 91% chance of them winning the series historically.
both teams.
But this series has been awesome.
How is that not a trip?
The most entertaining series out of all
Holy
the series.
shit.
Dallas has 19 goals in 4 games. It's high scoring. It's fast, real fast at all times.
Yeah.
So if anybody's going to tune in, I know they're late games, but set your
No, you gotta
DVR, set
watch.
something, watch those games. This game is amazing. But Hudobin's played very well, even though he's let in quite a few goals also, because Colorado's been scoring pretty consistently as well. But like you said, I think depth scoring for Colorado is kind of their downfall right now, and maybe not having Grubauer. I don't know, to be honest with you, how much better Grubauer would have been doing than Francouz. I don't think Francouz has been that bad, to be honest with you. It's just, Dallas has been coming hard. All 4 lines coming hard. Defense, everybody's on board. The one thing I got to say is if this does end up being a Vegas-Dallas Western Conference final, I think they're going to need Ben Bishop because Vegas and Colorado are very similar with that speed and skill. Lots of speed and skill, but Vegas is just a little bit deeper. And these games, Dallas is scoring goals, but Vegas is going to score goals too. So if this is kind of like a shootout consistently, Vegas has Leonard or Fleury, both superstar goaltenders. Hudobin is playing very well, but how long is it going to last? Ben Bishop, Vezina Trophy winning goaltender. Did he win a Vezina or just
nominated? Just nominated.
Just nominated.
Nominated.
Vezina Trophy nominee it could be an X factor if we ever see him. I don't know. The ongoing bet right now is like, who do we see first, Steven Stamkos or Ben Bishop, or do we see either of them at all? I don't know.
No. It's like I said, it's going to hurt both teams if they don't see those guys. I really do think that Walt Khudobin's playing great. You get against better competition and more team play with especially Vegas. That could come back to hurt them. So.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Vegas, let's get back to that next series, next and final. The Knights and the Canucks. Knights have a 3-1 series lead. Game 1, the Knights with a 5-0 shootout win. Game 2, Canucks come back, win it 5-2. Yeah, Melvin just doing good. Good things for the pod. Toffoli came back in Game 2. He gets the first goal for the Canucks. Horvat gets the second goal with a great pass from Pettersson. Tuck once again on a breakaway that gets on the board for Vegas' first goal. I think he's had maybe 6 breakaway goals. So
period over.
It's been pretty good for Alex Tuck. But Pettersson with a great move for that Vancouver third goal. Horvat gets the fourth. Horvat's obviously the goal leader with 9 for the whole entire playoffs. Our boy Brock Besser, friend of the podcast, with the assist.
Friend of the podcast, Brock Besser.
Max Pacioretty with Vegas' goal, and then Pearson gets the empty netter at the end of the game, so Vancouver holds off Vegas for Game 2. Pettersson had a goal and 2 assists. Horvat with the 2 goals. Leonard with 22 saves. Markstrom with 38 after getting pulled in Game 1. Game 3, Vegas with 3-0 win. Leonard, a 31-save shutout, the second of the playoffs. Markstrom had 31 saves, really played well, but Tuck with another breakaway goal. Me and Schwim watched that. It was amazing. Whitecloud also got a goal as well as Mark Stone and his Bozo the Clown hair. I think I'm trying to remember. There was a meme I saw. It was Mark Stone, and it was.
And I saw it. It was the guy from what's that show on Adult Swim with the doctor
John C. Reilly. It was John C. Reilly.
Yeah, John C. Reilly.
Oh, Steve Brule.
Yeah, they had a side by side.
His out in the sidewalk. Yeah, it was
Steve
great.
Brule and him. It was fantastic.
Steve Brule.
So Game 4, Vegas gets a 5-3 win to take a 3-1 series lead. Patches with 2 goals and assists. Stone with 3 assists. Theodore with 2 assists. Schmidt had a goal and Theodore had a goal and assist. I met him, that French Canadian. Carlson had a goal. William Carlson. Pettersson, Horvat, and Toffoli each with a goal. Pettersson's played really great, as is Horvat. Hughes had 2 assists, and Markstrom had 28 saves. Fleury had 28 saves, and he passes Ken Dryden for 6th all-time in playoff wins with 81.
Awesome. Way to go.
Yeah, math.
Yeah, no, math, pretty good.
Love him.
Both Markstrom and Fleury had ridiculous saves in this game. Markstrom had a fantastic leg pad save on Jody Marchessault, and then Fleury with that beautiful glove save on Pedersen. I don't know if you guys saw that; it was ridiculous. And then, of course, because this is a trash talking series, Ryan Reeves and Travis Green were getting in banter during the game. Travis Green, obviously being the coach of Vancouver, I guess Reeves was making baby noises and calling him a baby the whole time, and just good stuff. Game 5 is Tuesday, so we're looking for more of that, good fun. So,
yeah, Vegas
you guys got anything?
Vegas is getting a lot of props for their smack talk on the ice. Apparently,
yeah,
it's
like all Reeves, and then everybody's just following Reeves.
Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
No, there's nothing you could do.
I think I could play. So I mean, he's effective. I mean, I love Ryan Reeves. I loved him on Pittsburgh. The instances he had with Phil Kessel. I think he shared a hotel room with Kessel once and wore some sort of Halloween mask and scared the crap out of him.
Yeah, that is great. Yeah, as he was going into his room, he jumped out with a Halloween mask.
Yeah, I think he had a T-shirt made with Phil Kessel's face on the front too.
He had it was Michael Jackson, one of his album covers, but I think Phil Kessel was
the Thriller. It was the Thriller, but it was Phil Kessel.
Was Reeves the one that put the hot dogs in the Stanley Cup?
No,
and then
he wasn't,
blamed Kessel.
He wasn't there. He wasn't there.
He wasn't a part of that. Okay,
no, they traded him.
Oh.
That was after 17 that he was on the team.
Gotcha. So good stuff. All the series have been played pretty well. Pasta on the screen right now. That chip tooth and
where's this cold brew?
Schwim, do you have any analysis from all those? As I say, with Amanda Kessel. Schwim's analysis for the series. Everyone heard it, so good job, Schwim. All right, let's go into our numbers. Let's do 51 to 60, right?
We got time for all of our numbers?
Yeah,
this one's pretty easy, I think. Although I had a hard time with one number specifically, but
really,
how about you guys? Yeah.
So
was it 58?
No.
Yeah, it was definitely 58. All right, so 51 to 60. Let's go through it. 51. As I go down to it, I have on my thing Brian Campbell, Buffalo Sabres, San Jose Sharks, Chicago Blackhawks, Florida Panthers, 504 points in 1,000 games, roughly 1,000 games. Pretty skilled defenseman. Were 44 actually is playing as a junior for Ottawa of the OHL. He actually had it retired. He then wore 51 through all 17 of his NHL seasons.
There you go, friggin' idiot.
Valtteri Filppula and Franz Nielsen also wearing 51. Pretty decent. But Campbell, excellent underrated player for 17 seasons. He had the speed that plays well, and he had a useful career. So he's my 51. Schwim's just frustrated.
He's getting another beer. He needs more alcohol. Brian Campbell. Good career, a commendable career. I liked him a lot on Buffalo there, and when he was a pretty elite offensive defenseman at one point, and turned into more of a shutdown guy. But yeah, he was good. I enjoyed watching him. Years ago. Good career, so I would have him too. I put Franz Nielsen there as well, but I'll give the tip of the hat to Brian Campbell.
So who's your pen?
I put Dave Roche only because the other one to wear 51 is Derek Pouliot, and he's awful. So, Dave Roche.
We still on 51?
Yeah.
Yep. Who's your 51?
Valtteri Filppula.
I figured.
Former Tampa Bay Lightning. I had to go with him.
Well, obviously, because
he was there for 3 or 4 years.
Number one.
Had a pretty good season. They had one season where he had 25 goals, so I'll go with him.
So the 50s were not good for Rangers. No Ranger wore 52, no Ranger wore 57 or 59 or 60. So I'm going to have no one for those numbers. But Fader Tootin, 2004 to 2008, wore 51, steady defenseman. Not great, just pretty decent. So I'll give him 51. 52. Actually, so pretty good story with 52, and it'll lead to this gentleman. The Colorado Avalanche, if you guys remember their jerseys, they have that Bigfoot imprint on their left shoulder. And for the longest time, I don't know why, I thought that was because of Adam Foote. And Adam Foote is my number 52. He wore it for the Quebec Nordiques as well as the Colorado Avalanche. I, for some reason, thought that was the reason why they had that logo on there was for Adam Foote. I don't know why. I was a young kid, didn't really pay attention.
Yeah.
But 308 points in 1,100 games. But he was a rock solid defenseman. All part of those championship teams. He had the size and the toughness. 1,500 penalty minutes as that stay-at-home defenseman. They won the Cup, obviously, in 96 and 01. During Colorado's championship run in 01, Foote actually led the Avalanche in ice time over Ray Bourque and Rob Blake. He carried the load on Colorado's back end. No other defenseman actually averaged more than 16. So between him, Bourque, and Blake, they almost played 30 minutes each. Fun fact, Foote is the only player in Nordiques Avalanche history to wear number 52. Other players, Mike Green could definitely be up there. Dave Andreychuk, I guess, wore it a little bit, but Foote was fearless and relentless. And just an essential part of that team. So, what do you guys think?
Two cups, one Olympic gold in 02, one World Cup of Hockey gold in 04. He was actually the last active player to play for the Nordiques. Also,
yep.
That's a little fun fact, but yeah, pretty slightly underrated guy. Real huge piece to that Colorado team, and even the Canada teams during their gold medal wins. Kind of
I forgot.
Not underappreciated, but
I guess Sakic retired before Foote. I thought he played.
Yeah.
Huh.
He was the last active player from the Nordiques.
Adam Foote also probably had one of the greatest noses in the history.
Yeah, that's a schnoz.
He had a schnoz and a half.
Yeah.
One player for Pittsburgh wore this for 1 year. His name was Rusty Fitzgerald in 1996.
Ooh, good old Rusty.
Mm-hmm.
Tampa's only 52 is Foote's son, Cal Foote. He actually wore 52 for his training camp and crap. But maybe he'll be on the team next year.
Oh no, that's right.
That's Nolan Foote. Yeah, Cal is the defenseman. Yep. 14th overall pick. Yeah, so maybe he'll follow in his father's footsteps and take his number when he joins the team.
What number does Nolan wear? Is he 52 like his pops too? I guess we'd have to talk to Sam.
He was like a teen number, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see if he's even on the team next year. Who knows?
Well, no Ranger wore 52, so let's go to 53. I guess Jeff Skinner. He's 465 points, 258 goals in 720 games. Had a great year with the Hurricanes before he signed that big money deal with Buffalo, and then he stunk. Left wing won the Calder in 10 and 11 after leading all NHL rookies with 63 points. He scored at least 30 goals 4 times in 10 seasons, and he had a career-high 40 in his first season with Buffalo.
There you go.
Yeah, but I still think he's been pretty terrible. I think eventually it'll be Bo Horvat that takes that. He's been wearing 53, and he's been awesome. Gostisbehere is another person that's worn 53, so we'll see if he actually makes it out of the doldrums in Philly because he's been healthy scratch for a little bit. But yeah, he made some solid contributions to Carolina and won the Calder Trophy as the Rookie of the Year. So we'll see how he continues his career in Buffalo.
I don't really want to pick somebody because everybody who wears it are just like young players who are still sort of establishing themselves. So, Jeff Skinner, I guess, has probably been around longer than Horvat, and
it'll eventually.
I don't have much faith in Gostisbehere, although we'll see. But I think Horvat and Skinner are kind of, unless somebody else that's number 53 comes around and decides to take that number.
Yep. So, 53. The only 3 Rangers have worn it. I'm going to give it to Derek Morris, though. He played pretty well in 2009 in the playoffs. So,
okay. One player wore it for Pittsburgh, Teddy Bluger. That's it.
2 wore for Tampa, and they're both not worth mentioning. So let's move on.
Okay. 54. Let's give it to the good old. Oh man, this is bad. I guess if you want to say Adam McQuaid. Adam McQuaid is my buddy Kevin would say Darth Quader. He's a Bruin for about 9 years, Ranger for a year, and then a Blue Jacket for another year. 73 career points in 512 games. Yeah, I mean, 54 really stinks. He's a hulking defenseman, won a cup with the Bruins. I'm not really much else to say.
Yeah, I just gave it to him because he wore it the longest.
Yeah.
That's
I
about
mean,
it.
even the Rangers. I mean, Brandon Dubinsky won it in 2007 before getting, his number. I guess Brandon Dubinsky. Ugh, this is bad.
Yeah, I'll say.
You guys,
I only had
54
two.
for yourself?
Alex Pickard. I had Alex Pickard and Thomas DePauli are the only two players to wear 54, and whatever.
Yeah, 50s stink.
These are tough. For Tampa,
It gets better.
I had Paul Ranger, whose career was cut short. He was like an up and coming, pretty
defenseman.
mobile, one of those mobile defensemen. Had a pretty good year in 07-08 at 10 goals, 21 assists.
Involved in the possible acquisition of Carey Price.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the rumor that it was going to be him. His career was, he was gone for like 3 or 4 years and then came back and played that one season with Toronto and then left again. So Paul Ranger for me, 54.
All right, let's go to 55. Larry Murphy, Penguins, Leafs, Detroit Red Wings, 1,200 points in 1,600 games. Won the Stanley Cup twice with Pittsburgh, and then Detroit, 4-cup winner while wearing 55. Obviously a really skilled offensive defenseman. He actually ranks 5th in NHL history among defensemen in points and 4th in assists, and it was inducted in the Hockey Hall of Fame in 2004. A fantastic defenseman. Another player, obviously, Sergei Gonchar. And then, Mark Scheifele's also wearing 55 now as one of the young guns. There's a bunch of other 55s. I know, good young players, but, Murphy was ahead of his time, a unique player, and, he'd go to the corner and just make great plays. So, Steve, I'd take it. Obviously, Larry Murphy's your guy.
Larry Murphy, yes, but I don't want to discredit Sergei Gonchar and what he did. I mean, Sergei Gonchar was an incredible offensive defenseman also, and the way he ran a power play was tops, out of a lot of the best Hall of Fame defensemen out there to run power plays. Sergei Gonchar is right there, just super. I was of all the coaches that left Pittsburgh, he was the one that I was hoping would stay. But some team's going to be lucky to have him coach their, probably a team with a young defensive core. That would be great. But yeah, Larry Murphy though, I don't think he was watching him in the early '90s win those cups with Pittsburgh. I mean, he immediately became my favorite defenseman back then, and that was even with Paul Coffey on the team. And I don't want to discredit Paul Coffey either, because Paul Coffey's phenomenal and probably one of the best defensemen to ever play. But yeah, Larry Murphy and that 55. I'll never forget that, watching those cups in 91, 92.
Also, cup winner Colton Parayko wears 55 right now for St. Louis Blues. Really good defenseman. So, Schwim, who's your 55?
I had Larry Murphy also and Gonchar. I loved Sergei Gonchar. He was one of my favorite defensemen. Like him and Zubov were like two of my favorite defensemen back in the day. Larry Murphy, 4 cups. But yeah, I think for me it was Gonchar. I was a big Gonchar fan when I was growing up, so I really liked him.
Even on Washington,
he
didn't get a lot of credit on Washington.
He was good. His whole career was really good. Like he never had like a huge dip like some players do. He got not as great, but still he was very consistent. I thought he was a very consistent player.
You can give Sergei Gonchar a lot of credit for Evgeny Malkin's career as well, because if it wasn't for Sergei Gonchar,
the Russian.
Evgeny
he was coaching.
Was
he coaching in?
He played with him. So
no, I mean in Pittsburgh.
He was. And he was one of the ones. He
was one of the ones let go.
But yeah, when Malkin came over here from Russia and spoke no English at all, he moved in with Sergei Gonchar, and they became, still to this day, best friends. So taught him English and really got him through, got him Americanized, and I think you can give a lot of Malkin's Hall of Fame career, future Hall of Famer. A lot of credit needs to be given to Sergei Gonchar in that aspect as well.
Current Ranger Ryan. Jesus, I can't believe I just. Ryan Lindgren. Wearing 55, so we'll see how he pans out. Speaking of Sergei Zubov, number 56. Obviously, Pittsburgh Penguins, Dallas Stars. 771 points in 1,000 games. After finishing in last place in the Central Division, the Stars acquired Zubov in a trade with the Penguins on June 22nd of '96. that actually catapulted them to the first Stanley Cup championship in 1999. Zubov also won the Stanley Cup with the Rangers in '94. Ranked second among Russian-born defensemen in points behind Sergei Gonchar, and was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 2019. He did wear 21 in New York, and then number 3 and 56 during Pittsburgh years. He's hands down the best 57 Hockey Hall of Famer and 2-time Stanley Cup champion. So one of the best of his generation. Rangers, only Michael Sauer wore 56, so he's the only 56 I got. But and unfortunately, his career was ended by Dion Phaneuf because Phaneuf's a jerk. But yeah, no one else worth mentioning. Kucherov apparently wore 56, right? For
1 year,
or so.
2014. Yeah, his rookie year he wore it when he was a part of that triplet line.
Same with Claude Giroux, he wore it. So, but yeah, Sergei Gonchar. Steve, wax poetic.
Sergei Zubov, yes, for both.
Zubov, Kucherov. Two
That's
Ruskies.
All right.
You said it all.
I did. All right.
Bunch of ovs.
57. Currently playing for the St. Louis Blues. David Perron. 550 points in 850 games. Played for the Blues, then went to Edmonton. Came to Pittsburgh, Anaheim, Vegas. He's played for St. Louis 3 different times. But yeah, he's scored at least 20 goals in 5 seasons, including last season when he had 46 points in 57 regular season games. Just a steady forward. He wore 57 on each of his NHL teams, but he initially wore 39 with Pittsburgh. Tyler Myers another 57, but for me it's Perron. He's got the speed, skill. Former first-round pick, and he just impacts the game. You see him, you always notice him. So, David Perron, 57.
Yeah, I agree, and same with my Penguins, David Perron. I think in the beginning of his career, he got pretty much derailed a little bit with concussions, right? Isn't that why he wears that tinted visor?
That tinted visor. Him and Mark
to
Stoll.
dim the lights there. So yeah, I think I remember when he first started, he had great skill and a lot of future, a bright future, which he still does. He's been very successful and finally won that cup with St. Louis last year, and instrumental through those playoffs. Ryan O'Reilly was a machine in those playoffs, but don't discredit David Perron in those playoffs as well. It's consistently scoring for that team as well. But yeah, it would have been, maybe point-wise, star-wise, it would have been a little more if he had a full career without those concussions. But doing really well now, and yeah, David Perron for both. I liked him on Pittsburgh too. He started off really strong and then really trailed off there at the end. Just involved in unfortunate trades in retrospect, but he was fun to watch. Still is fun to watch.
Schwim, 57.
David Perron, he has these
mitts.
He's got hands. Well, mitts. I don't put mitts. But hands. He's got unbelievable hands. And Tampa player, Christian Kudrak. 50% of his goals were game winners. Okay?
Nice.
He had 2 goals. He had 2 career goals.
Yeah,
and one was a game winner.
And one was a game winner.
Nice.
That's it.
All right, let's go to number 58, and we'll make it a 4-pack for the Penguins. Chris Letang, 4 in a row, Pittsburgh Penguins. 537 points in 808 games, 3-time Cup champ. Obviously, power play and points. He's just fantastic. Leads those teams in ice time. He's 33 now. He's been at 6 All-Star games. Letang's the only player in Penguins history to wear 58, and it'll probably be retired. Maybe you can tell me if you think so, Steve, but I would assume so.
It takes a lot to retire a number, so I don't really know.
Yeah, he's obviously been overshadowed because obviously his teammates Sidney and Malkin, but he's one of the elite defensemen of his generation. So
yeah,
and no Ranger wears 58.
He's part of the core. He's part of the core that helped them win 3 Stanley Cups. So as frustrating as he can be, for sure, and making boneheaded plays, he's got an incredible amount of skill, and can be can be a Norris.
Tony do something
for the Norris every year. I don't know if he'd ever be a Norris winner, but certainly a candidate.
He needs to get going.
Yeah, at 33 now, he's probably past that Norris window, but
Yeah.
he's been really good.
I hope he finishes with Pittsburgh. I do. His name's always going to come up in trade rumors. But it'd be nice to see. I would have loved to see Fleury finish his career in Pittsburgh as well. But keep Malkin, Crosby, Letang there for their entire. I think that's the plan. But obviously, when things happen, you listen. So Rutherford, I'm sure, is listening to.
Yeah, I mean,
whether or not
I assume they weren't
serious about it.
Yeah, they probably weren't also wanting to trade Fleury either. So things happen.
Yeah, just the expansion draft. Had it not been for the expansion draft, Fleury's still there.
Schwim 58.
58 we're still on? Letang, yeah.
Yep.
Tampa player, listen to this one. Scott Jackson played one game for Tampa, wore 58 in 09-10. He played 14 minutes, had one block, one hit, and one takeaway. That was his career.
Nice. It's a good game.
That's it. 14 minutes. That was your career.
Number 59.
Hits than I do.
Current NHL player, captain of the Nashville Predators, Roman Josi, 413 points, 632 games. He's been one of the steady defensemen since the end of the league in 11-12. But obviously now he's a Norris Trophy. I think he's the favorite, but he set a career high in goals and assists and points while ranked third in the league in ice time. Jake Gensel also wears 59. So does Tyler Bertuzzi, but it's not a popular number, but he shows it off pretty well. So that's who I give it to. Roman Josi and no Ranger wears 59. So
I'll give it to Josi currently, but I think there's a strong possibility in a few years we're saying it's Jake Gensel, depending on
if he keeps going the way he's going, definitely.
Yeah, depending on health and what other X factors. But this past season before he got hurt, I mean, he was really rolling. So either one of them at this point. Hopefully Roman Josi wins the Norris, and hopefully John Carlson doesn't, because I feel like I was insulted in this year's playoffs watching him play defense.
He was bad.
So, yeah. But that's all I have to say about that.
All right. Schwim, 59?
Josi. Yeah, Josi.
All right.
It's a no-brainer. Do you want me to give my Tampa guy? I guess.
You don't have to. If it's someone that sucks, then, all right. So let's go right to 60.
He had a good year there. It was Jake Dotchin. He was like he was playing with Hedman a little bit for like a year.
Right, number
Nobody
60.
60,
and the reason why I say Shea Theodore, it's Jose Theodore. Montreal
Jose.
Canadiens, former MVP of the league. Avalanche, you also played for Caps, Wild, and Panthers. 286 wins. Had those 4 seasons with at least 30 wins, including the 01-02 season when he won the Vezina and the Hart. He went 30-24 in that season.
That's insane.
That's crazy.
Yeah, with
the same percentage.
So his stats, 30-24. So that team blew 10 ties. He led the league with the .931 save percentage and was 4th with a .211 goals against average and tied for 2nd with 7 shutouts. There's not really anybody wearing it now. Mark Stone maybe eventually will get 60, but Jose Theodore. No one
Jose,
Rangers worth 60.
16-year career. Yeah, that 01-02 Hart Vezina combo with that .931 save percentage, really awesome. For Pittsburgh, the only nobody knows who Emil Larmy is, but I do recommend you check out his Twitter because that boy can post.
Nice. Schwim, 60?
That's about it.
Theodore, all the reasons you guys talked about. Tampa player, up-and-coming prospect Alex Barré-Boulet. Led the queue in scoring. The one he's undrafted. Led the queue in scoring in 17-18. Had 116 points in 65 games or something that year. He's been the AHL the last 2 years, and he's had over those 2 years 61 goals and 66 assists. So
riveting.
It's riveting. Your shirt.
All right, guys. What did you give your beers? I know Sam's getting ready to sign us off. What do you think?
This is a 4.25. This thing is delicious.
As
like
is
I
this.
said, drink with caution because it is very
Artisanal
high alcohol.
4. Really
This
good
is a
beer.
4.
My goodness.
Schwim, take her home, bud.
I got nothing. I'm too angry, so screw y'all. Other curse words, and have a good night.
Yibambe.
Yibambe.
Yibambe.